Yeah, but
Well, the
they're
important
just
thing
like
is to
standard,
be
like something you
edgy.
take to the range. You know, you're not
Agree
talking
to
about like
agree.
Hydroshock. You know, Hydroshock
I'm
rounds.
pretty sure if I put one of these in your head, you'll be dead either way.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
it'll
so
work. It'll do
yeah.
the trick. But normally, you typically want to shoot for center mass.
Arc
Yeah.
and falling.
Yeah.
So,
So
Well,
Are
you
you a
know what?
boomer,
I'm old
E-Digital?
school,
oh,
but
for
I
sure.
believe you
Yeah.
How old are you,
shoot
Mr.
to
Boomer?
disable.
I'm 47.
I'm
I'll
old.
tell you.
I'm old
I'll tell you.
school. You don't have to
Here's
shoot to
the thing.
kill. That's a myth. You
Here's
could
the
shoot
thing.
to disable
What
in the
year were
knee.
you
In the
born
knee.
in, E-Digital?
I couldn't hear your question.
What year were you born in?
That was my fault.
1976.
Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you.
Child.
I'll tell you.
Child.
I think the boomers are given a lot of hate for the state that America is in, but I honestly believe the greatest generation is more at fault because America, the last time America had like a chance to turn itself around was probably 1964, with the Civil Rights Act and the Hart-Celler Act and all of that gay shit that they put forth, right?
Oh, that's bullshit.
I don't think the boomers were like
all
politically.
right. So
A lot
this
of them
guy
weren't even
isn't bad
alive,
looking.
right?
This guy
Yeah.
isn't bad looking. He's around like a, I don't know, like a 7.5 to an 8
Thank you.
in his
Yeah.
prime. In his prime.
In my
I would be
prime.
fine
I
with
mean, in
him. I
my
would be
prime,
fine with
sir.
him. Listen, I'd be fine with this autist raping a lot of my Asian girls to produce millions of Elliot Roger Hoppas who aren't too bad looking.
Yeah, just to correct you, I'm not a boomer. I would be actually considered Generation X.
You sound like
Oh,
you sound like that one motherfucker. You sound like
yeah, you actually
Chris.
sound too young.
You
to
sound
be a
like Larry
boomer,
the
yeah.
Cable Gown man.
But I'll tell you,
Yeah, are you
even
kidding? The
boomers,
boomers
I think
ended about
boomers were actually too
64.
young to really be like a political force. I think their parents were
They were
actually
just
the real.
following, yeah.
Yeah,
Their
exactly.
parents
I
were the
think
actual
Yeah.
you know what my theory
Antifa,
is. I think World War II. 1 second theory. My theory, a theory, is that in World War II, which was a war in which heroic young men were basically thrown into a meat grinder, a worthless meat grinder, right?
worthless.
And cowardice, lame young men stayed home, right? And thus we had a very dysgenic war that all the courage and brilliance and exceptional qualities
Back
of the
up a little bit.
time
Let
were
him finish.
left a piece of
Well, I
meat
mean,
on
would
the
you rather be
battlefield.
speaking German right now? Like, why
I
was it
would
worthless?
actually. I think I would rather be speaking
No, the
German
Die
greatest
dunkle Seite der
generation was
Macht.
the greatest.
I'll tell you, E-Digital. I think if
Eine
the men
kühne
that
der
stormed.
Hauptung.
I mean,
Wait,
Aber
my
ihr seid
grandfather
keine
was
let me
very
ask you this.
conservative.
Let me
He
ask you
still
this.
hated
Do
Nazis.
you
so
think
that's
the men
a
that
Kühne der
stormed
Hauptung.
D-Day? Do you think the men that
Aber ihr
stormed
seid
D-Day, if
keins.
they saw the state of America today, do you think they would have stormed those beaches? If they saw
Yeah,
what
my
America was like?
grandfather saw it
Fuck
all,
no.
and
Yeah,
You know, it's
absolutely
funny,
not.
like,
hated
you
those
wanna like
Nazis.
so. Just a quick
He's
aside that's
conservativer than you,
not
probably.
consequential. You
No,
and I,
wrong.
bro, you and I
Oh
have
my
the
God.
exact same HyperX headset.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah,
pretty good quality.
I
I
love
think the
it.
mic is a little shitty, but it's fine.
No, it
It
sounds
does
good.
the job. It does the
Let's
job.
No, it
agree that the greatest generation did not know what headsets to buy. Totally clueless about
Yeah.
headsets.
What's the best headset? I mean, I enjoy the HyperX. What's the best? What's better than that? I'll fucking buy it right now.
The cheapest possible Logitech.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I like noise canceling and
Little
all the.
known fact.
Oh really? Are you saying that's the better fidelity to both
No,
input and
no, no,
output?
they suck. I'm just saying that it's,
Oh,
how much better do you need? Okay, Bose.
E-Digital, what color are your eyes?
they change. It's
What do you mean?
So no, my wife tells me this all the time. So sometimes they're blue, sometimes they're amber.
Huh?
Bro,
You know,
you're just being edgy. You're just doing that thing where
I'm not
people have
being
to be
edgy.
edgy. You're
I'm
being
just
edgy.
saying what I've
Everybody's
been
got to be
told over and over
edgy.
again. They do.
No, not
They.
you. The bro
Oh.
guy.
Oh, okay.
Bro,
Sorry.
just
How am
being
I
edgy.
being edgy,
You're
Theory?
just being edgy. Oh, the greatest generation. It wasn't great. Come on.
Yeah, here's the thing. I
They
think
were great.
I
Everybody knows.
I think all
Even
the
the
great.
Nazis agree it was good to kill the Nazis in that situation.
No, the
What?
Germans agree. Not
Yeah,
the
even
Nazis.
the Germans and no, the Nazis.
I
Even
think
the Nazis are like,
World
okay,
War II. I think
funny.
World War II was a horrendous brother war that should never have occurred. I think the Germans should have unified the planet. I think they would have done a good job. I think.
No,
I think.
the Nazis aren't
Furthermore,
around
I
to
think
The Nazis
the
don't know how to last.
Japanese
They're
identified
like
the
12
Han
years and out.
Chinese as
Well,
like a serious problem,
you
and that if the
seem to
Japanese
have
controlled, One second. I think if the Japanese took over China, right, they would have put those people to good use. Instead, what we have now is communism in China, post-communism in Russia, right? And America is basically turning into a gay communist version of what
Well,
Russia
Well, that
used
just
to be.
proves how
It's
bad of an
terrible.
idea it was to
The
get
bad
the
guys
Japanese to
won. The
attack
bad
the
guys
Chinese.
won theory.
Didn't work.
Bro, I think what you're saying is incredibly short-sighted.
No, I don't think so. I think it's
No.
very
Well, no,
long-sighted.
I know you
And I
don't think
think
so. That's
they're
obvious.
coming back, E-Digital. I think they're coming back to rectify
I
their
think the
mistake.
reason it's short-sighted is because, probably we would have been invaded by the Japanese first.
No.
Yeah. Well, at
No,
least
I don't think so.
the western half of the country would have been. So
Hello.
He's attacked the continent because we
I'll
told them
tell
to.
you, when the
They attacked
fascists
Korea
come back,
and
right? One
Russia
second.
and
Theory.
China 'cause we
I
said.
think when the
We'll answer
fascists
that
come back, right, and they extend their hand and they say, young white men of great power and brilliance and strength, right? Join us, right? And we will give you everything you want: land, women, prestige, power.
Hello.
Join them and we'll fight for them, right? Because the other side, the left side, hates them. They want to see these people eradicated. They hate white men. They think they're scum. They think they're evil. They think that all the faults of the world lie at
I
their
think
feet,
you've
right?
misplaced
So
the
E-Digital, let me ask you,
part
buddy.
where fascism is. Fascism
What do you
is
mean?
not.
Dude,
I'll tell you,
we're a bunch
E-Digital.
of
I think
40-year-olds.
fascism lost. One second. I think
You're
fascism lost.
definitionally a
Right?
huge faggot. So
I'll tell you. I
so
think
know.
fascism lost the first time because there were
Definitionally.
young white men of great power that were able to stand
So,
against them.
was it
Nobody is
your
gonna.
first or second girlfriend that got fucked by a black guy that helped you believe this?
I don't
You
think there are
fucking
going to be any
straight
young
faggot.
white men of great power that are going to stand against them. Because why would
How
you fight
did
for
I
a
know
side
you?
that
There's
hates you?
nothing in this
You know?
world that's more pathetic than a pussy who wants to like act tough and like talk rhetoric. You would never put a gun to anyone's head, you fucking pussy faggot.
I don't think that that's
like you're
true.
a little pussy. You're a bitch.
No, I think
Here you
I
are
would.
advocating for
Char.
your race. This like inherent value that you think you have, but you're a faggot.
Why are you
like coming
slurring?
online
Are
talking
you
all this
drunk,
shit?
Char?
I bet you
Are
would
you
cry like
Char?
a fucking baby
Have
if
you
your
been
employer found
drinking,
out
Char?
you were
Why are you
talking all this
You
Adam
slurring?
haven't
Walker
been
shit
drinking.
online.
You have a
You
That's the
fucking
first
list,
pussy.
thing.
Char?
You
have a
understand
list,
that?
Char?
Like,
Char, it
would
sounds like
your
you have a list.
employer like
You
to
have a
hear
cleft
about all the
chin. What's
shit you
going on here,
talk?
homie?
I guarantee you would cry like a fucking bitch when you got shit canned for
I
pretending
don't
like you're
think
some
so,
sort of
Char.
nat
I think
stock
you're
online.
projecting. I think you're
Fucking
projecting
pussy
because you're a
faggot.
mutt human. You're biologically you're a
See,
biological refuse, homie.
that sounds
Yeah.
like you're LARPing again
Yeah.
because why would you think? No, you, bro. Like, why
Oh.
would you think that? Because
Wait, what
he's
is
attacking
LARPing?
you.
What is LARPing theory?
Well, you
Live
kind of
action
come
role
across
playing.
as
I'll tell you.
you're too pure. You're too pure of a position. It seems like you're role playing.
Here's the thing. Napoleon LARPed as Caesar. Caesar LARPed as Alexander the Great. All great men look to great men of the past for inspiration.
No, they're
I
not
think that's a great
LARPing.
thing.
That is not what
Yeah,
LARPing
they are
means.
LARPing. They are.
You didn't know what
Well,
LARPing
they are,
meant
then
5
they're
seconds
lame.
ago.
It's just a way of lamifying
Napoleon
what they did.
verbatim said he thought he was the rebirth of Caesar. He thought he
No,
was the reincarnation.
hang on.
No.
How
5
does that
seconds
turn
ago,
out?
I'll tell you, E-Digital.
5
I
seconds ago, you didn't
am. One
know
second,
what
E-Digital.
LARPing meant.
E-Digital. I'll tell you,
No,
I am the
no.
rebirth of
You've
That's
Napoleon,
fine.
spoken.
and I will lead the
LARP.
West.
Hang on.
Future.
You've spoken. Now I'm going to speak.
Go ahead.
5 seconds. Well, now 10 seconds ago, you didn't know what the fuck LARPing even meant.
You
And
me,
that's pathetic what you're doing right
Fucking
there.
hell, dude.
And
Dude, you're gonna get pulled over for having guns in your car.
I know, dude.
Second off,
I'll
is
fucking
like
mask
It's not that big, I suppose.
No,
taking the
no,
learnings
legally.
of the past.
I just hit
philosophies
a
and histories.
rep. What's it called?
Doesn't mean
Is there a window or
you're
anything
LARPing.
open?
That doesn't mean you're LARPing. When you're
He
listening to
probably went
the
out.
greater
Yeah,
people, the better men than you in the past, to learn from them.
Yeah. Live action role playing.
Bro, do you know how easy it is
sounds
to
pretty
reverse
similar
image
to me,
your
E-Digital.
face and tie it to your social media
Sounds-
profile? Enjoy explaining to HR
sounds like a
that you're a
similar
fucking
In all
Mexican vitalist
seriousness,
and you're not a
there's a
fucking
need to
racist.
be edgy.
Enjoy
I don't
it,
even mean it
vitalist.
as an
Enjoy it.
insult. Who doesn't want to be edgy? We're all trying to be a
Wait,
little edgy.
Yeah.
So
Char, why are you so
Just
mad? Is
doing
it
it in a
because you're like a
non-edgy
genetic
way.
defect? Is that why? You know that you will not survive the coming crucible of violence? Is that why?
Bro, what are you
And
what
thus
are
you
you even
lash
talking
out?
about?
What are you
we're just
even
gonna have our
talking about?
government. We're just gonna have our government suppress the
Bro,
LARP violence.
like,
Don't worry.
alright,
We've
you
Our
have a
got it
knife
government?
covered.
fight.
What do you
We're
mean?
gonna
The
have a
government's
knife
going to be
fight
working
Yeah,
for
the
the
government.
meat
start.
theory.
Think so?
You ain't shit, bro.
Maybe
You
for
ain't
a
Yeah,
few
shit.
years.
Trump is going to win, and then he will
Nazis
like-
never
declare
last very
martial
long.
law,
They always
and
Well,
last
it's
then
like
and then
literally the
everybody
equivalent of people
who's a
threatening to beat people
leftist
up
will be
online.
put against the wall.
Where
Oh,
have
I'm gonna start a fascist revolution
ever
for my
lasted
race.
very
Like,
long?
you just wait and
They're like
see.
12
I'm gonna
years
start a
now.
fascist revolution for my race. I'm a Nietzschean vitalist. Like I understand aesthetics, and I'm a superior white man. I'm gonna be able to figure it out.
Nietzsche was pro-artist.
Nothing
though,
you're
just to be
saying
clear.
sounds bad to me, Char.
Char,
What's
don't
the
let him
issue?
get it. Don't let him get under your skin, bro.
No, I'm just
I
having
don't.
fun.
I don't even
fucking
know
hate
what
these
Char's
people.
Oh,
problem.
okay.
What's
It's
your
just
problem with
entertaining.
Nietzsche?
Yeah.
Wait,
I
Char.
like
What are
talking
your
shit.
Wait, what
I
are
just
your
don't want to talk
criticisms
shit to
of
people who don't
Nietzsche?
deserve it. Luckily, this
Well, what
fool
you
running
say
around.
Nietzsche believed is not Nietzsche's
Because
philosophy.
he keeps well, it absolutely was. My
No.
interpretation of Nietzsche
He
is
was
the correct interpretation.
anti-fascist.
My game's
There's
No, he
loading.
wasn't.
There's nothing
Yeah,
like
he was.
more
He
annoying
hated
in this world.
Wagner and all the
Like you could be a
pre-fascists.
lot of things, but if you become
Wrong,
like a
wrong. He had
out
some
of touch
Very
criticisms
narcissist, you just
clear.
deserve
of
to
how
be flamed.
radical they
He
were. He
loved
didn't
the
think it was
Jews.
time.
Why I
But-
love the Jews. You look it up.
No, Nietzsche was definitely an anti-Semite. Let's not get it twisted.
No.
Nietzsche
totally
wrote
false.
more scathing things about
No,
the Jews
that's
than
bullshit.
most
He
people
said
in
why
history.
he loves the Jews.
No. He had some
Ugly
he had some
Germans.
kind words
He
in their
wrote it totally
tenacity to
down.
survive, right?
He
But a
hated
couple
the
kind
anti-Semitic
words.
Germans.
No.
He broke up with
That's simply not
Wagner
true.
over it. His
Theory.
best
You
friend.
have
His
like a
best friend
childlike
Wagner, he's
surface
like,
level
fuck him and his
interpretation
idiot
of Judaism, you know?
unknown guy. How do
And
you do those
Nietzscheanism.
jumps? What is that
Yeah.
game? That jump seems impossible. I've seen you do
Yeah.
it like twice.
What?
Wait,
It's
Theory, what
finals.
books
I
of
haven't really
Nietzsche
played
have
it
you
that
read?
much.
Please tell me.
It's lagging at the moment.
Have you
The only
have you,
game I can
have you
seem
read
to
anything of Nietzsche
the
that
only
is
game I
read
can seem to
everything.
play is
All
fucking
of the
Counter
Nietzsche,
Strike.
but not Will to Power because his Nazi sister wrote that. That's not him.
You've read Beyond Good and Evil? You've read
Many times. Yeah.
The Gay Science?
Yep.
Bro, are you actually a
what
faggot?
translation? What
Bro, are
translation?
you actually gay? Because you're giving me
Oh,
huge
yeah.
homosexual
Kaufman,
vibes.
is the guy Kaufman
did the
that did all
British
of them
person
ones?
just called someone a faggot? That's very funny.
No,
That might be the funniest
I'm
thing
being
I've heard all night.
sincere. I'm being sincere. You give off these huge
Brit,
homosexual vibes.
Brit. Your country
Kaufman.
is terminal. Your country is
Bro,
terminal.
I don't
You
care.
hate
I'm not
brown
talking
people
about
like
my
anyone.
country, bro. My country
Anyways,
isn't
The
me.
old
Yeah,
Kaufman one.
it actually is. So Theory, tell me, what translation
Okay.
did you read?
Kaufman.
All right, you're retarded.
Oh,
You're a
Kaufman is a
retarded nigga.
retard. His translation
You're a
is
retarded
Of course you
nigga.
think that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm assuming you took the footnotes he wrote to heart as well.
Bro,
Well,
how do you feel
no,
about being
I
called a
must- I
retarded
just-
nigger?
No, just the translated
I
text.
feel
His comments,
positively.
you know,
I
like
think
all
that word is very
like all
funny. and I think it's
translator,
a
his
humorous thing to
comments are
say.
like, okay, interesting, but it's just
Don't
something.
clip
I
it.
think
Don't
more
clip
His
it. I'll get in
translation
trouble.
is
I didn't say
Brazilian,
shit.
so.
This is
No.
not me.
No.
Well, I wanted to read it in the original German, but I just haven't learned German yet.
Oh, you should.
But some of
Why?
the stuff,
Beautiful
some of
language.
the stuff is not that dependent on the particular
Fuck that.
translator. He definitely was like, you know, why the Jews are great and why these Wagnerians are ugly Germans that don't know what they're talking about and have a fantasy.
Wait, why did he think the Jews were great, Theory?
Who are we talking
Do you
about?
remember? Do you remember?
Who are we talking about?
We're talking about
Well,
think you're talking
probably
about
because they have
Jews.
gusto and esprit. I don't know. What was it?
So you don't even remember what the
I'll have to
positives he
think
said about the
about it.
Jews
I'm
were?
trying to
I
remember
thought we're
what
talking
he was
about
in.
Nietzsche.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, early in his early writings, he did make criticisms of certain aspects of Judaism, but
No.
in his later writings,
He called the Jewish Bible a manual for slaves. Actually,
but in his later writings,
But he liked
that
it
they
better
are
than
they are like the
Christianity.
center
he
of
did
the
attack
intellect.
But
anti-Semitism.
he liked
Yeah.
it better than Christianity, though.
Yeah.
The culture
Well, he
he
believed
liked better.
Christianity was the natural conclusion of Judaism.
that
He
was
thought it was the logical conclusion of it. Yeah.
But Judaism was
That
still
Christianity is just a
pro-life.
distillation of the values of Judaism, which
Christianity
is
was
true. That is
anti-life,
absolutely
and
true.
Judaism was pro-life. So he ultimately
No,
liked
that's
Judaism
simply
better.
not true.
Yeah.
No, Christianity is the natural conclusion of Judaism. No. It's the distillation. It's
Well, he was like,
agglomeration of their
Christianity
values
is the
and morals. Yeah.
revenge the Jews took on the Roman society for fucking
Theory,
them over.
you must
They
have to have
invented
this insane
Christianity to ruin
interpretation
the Roman
of
Empire,
Nietzsche.
and it worked.
No. Yeah. I beg of you, Theory, actually read the things he says and like don't listen to some neoliberal,
No, it's all
professor's
from reading it.
interpretation
When
of
I read,
Nietzsche. Just read what he actually read and you'll find out what Nietzsche
That's
no, I
actually
actually
thinks.
good
started
advice.
reading Nietzsche when
Yeah.
everybody said he was
That's actually good
pro-Nazi,
advice.
like
Yeah.
you think.
Because
He
here's
was
the thing.
obviously
Here's the thing.
anti-Nazi.
Neoliberal professors, like they realized they couldn't get rid of Nietzsche. He's so foundational to the West right now. He underlies so many things. So they were like, okay, if we can't get rid of him, we're just gonna have to like misinterpret him.
Well, they're going to
and, like,
propagandize.
Yeah,
what he
we're gonna
has
have to
to say.
propagandize like a twisted version of what he
Yeah.
actually said. But if you actually engage in like Nietzschean literature for what it is at face value, and you like, actually read the fucking literature instead of interpretations and footnotes, right? You realize that Nietzsche is like an insane dissident radical right winger. All right,
No,
he's
he's not a
incredibly
right-winger
racist.
at all.
He is to an insane degree. He's like definition of vitalist. Vitalism is inherently racist. It is sexist. It's patriarchal. Yes, these are inherent right-wing values. Theory. Come on.
No, he had some.
Don't be dishonest.
He had some misogynistic views.
Oh my God! See, they hand wave. He was kind of
Who cares?
misogynistic. He was kind of
No,
he's
I mean he
core to
was.
the
That's fine.
ideology.
Well, nobody's
theory.
perfect. He said he said people.
It's not a
didn't
magic theory.
He
You're
said
such
he
a
was part of the
theory.
previous
You
era.
are a silly
was
little
handing
goober.
things
You are a
off.
silly little goober. Theory. Wait, are you a white man?
Yes.
You can still be
Well,
saved.
they
I
say I'm white.
await
doubt it, but okay.
conversion to the right side. I hope that when the day comes, we won't
No,
have to
I've got
put you
my
down.
own side, right and left. Why do I have to choose between various 19th century philosophies? I figure I could get a
My
23rd
God,
century one.
E-Digital, you look like my gym teacher. Holy shit.
Hey, this is for
You look
This is for
look
you,
like
bro.
you're about to tell me to go run 5 laps because I was
Bro,
talking.
this is for you.
Hell, wow, dude, you got a full knuckle in there. Holy
Look at that.
moly. Are you
Look
not
at
like
that.
are you not like rubbing your brain? Oh no, he tricked me. He tricked me. You have a powerful physiognomy. I love that frontal lobe protrusion. You must have an IQ of at least 128.
It's around 128 and a half.
How much do you weigh, sir?
Right now I'm at 215.
It's a respectable way. You're 6'3"?
Mhm.
And 215, you must be like the skinniest 6'3" man alive. That's crazy. I'm
Right.
6'1" and I'm 180 pounds. I'm trying to get to 180. Let me ask you, sir, have you had any children, E-Digital?
Yeah.
How many children have you had?
I've had one child, one beautiful little girl. Late
You should
in
have
life, though.
another. You should have another child and make it a boy this time.
I've been trying to talk my wife into it, but she hates me.
Is she a white
It's
woman?
too laggy to play.
What's that?
Is she a white woman? A white woman?
No, you're gonna love this.
She's Asian.
Filipino.
Yeah. I
think white people should breed with Asian. Like,
I mean, I don't think
fucking
they're
hate Filipinos.
I'll tell you. Wow, he's racist. My God, Char, you've really come a long way.
no,
We can so say to you.
because like first you have the genetic
Excellent.
diversity factor, right?
Yeah, I've heard of
And
hybrid vigor. I don't know how much water it holds.
And the fact that typically Asians are one standard deviation higher in IQ than even white people.
No, not Jews though.
Not Filipinos. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, Filipinos, yeah.
No, they're not.
I mean,
Jar just spent like 20 minutes spurging about how I want to like defend my race.
They're talking about like Koreans,
and then he
Japanese,
hears
Chinese.
the word Filipino and he goes into
Not
like
even all
the most,
Chinese,
like,
really,
racist
only Han
tirade
Chinese.
I've ever heard. This is incredible, Char.
Filipinos have one of the lowest like second.
I mean, Filipinos
Filipinos are the strongest race.
They are the
known for that.
Ubermensch, actually. It's true.
When they whatever Filipinos,
I'll tell you, I for one welcome our Filipino masters.
They have an average. They have an average of 80.
whatever they do, they succeed in.
No, they don't. They get paid like $2. They get paid like $2 an hour to like work for like American teenage companies.
Well,
like
no,
slaves.
in Philippines they do.
These are slaves.
But when they migrate to America, they are very successful on average.
Let me ask you, why did you choose an Asian?
What do you mean when they migrate to America
rather than a white
differentiate them from Mexican?
Well, I found white women to be largely entitled.
You mean you mean out of your ability to obtain? Is that what you meant to say?
Oh no, I obtained quite a few.
You obtained quite a few
But
white
I
women.
found them to be
You stop that
largely
comment,
largely insufferable and quite entitled and quite
Well, I think they have a
quite
right to be
ungrateful as
entitled.
well.
They're the most beautiful
Well, I mean,
creatures on the planet.
their
Uh,
vaginas are lined in gold.
It's
So,
true.
no, they're not. You guys have never touched a mulatto.
and so the thing that
Mulatto.
appealed to me about Filipino women is, number one, they value family very much. Number two, being a housewife doesn't terrify them. Raising their children doesn't terrify them. Homeschooling doesn't terrify them. I mean, my wife is college educated. You know, I mean, she went through more school than I did. I'm a fucking high school dropout. You know.
Wow.
So, I mean, I have a good job, but it's just like the public school system didn't click with me. You know. Sorry.
What'd you do after
What's your descendancy, E-Digital? Where do you
I have no idea, man. Like,
have you taken the
I'm a
DNA
mutt.
test? You should.
I probably should, but my dad was adopted, so I have no way to know. I mean, if I had to guess, just based on my features, I would say
I see a Norman in you. I see Norman,
Nordic,
Yeah.
Germanic, French, English. You know, maybe somewhere European. You know, but
I think you should
can't
request for your wife.
Definitely not. Definitely
Here's the thing,
not. I'm
E-Digital.
definitely not from Zimbabwe. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you, E-Digital, you have some. I sense powerful warrior genes within you. I see a powerful Viking lineage within you. I think you should request of your
Why
wife
are you sucking this
permission.
guy's nuts?
I think you should request of your wife permission to breed with a white woman in order to pass on those genes.
Bro, you know what I see? I see a
What's
descendant. I see a descendant from the Celtic warriors who helped Hannibal beat the Romans. That's what I see.
That's what I see as well, actually. Yeah.
Warrior, straight from the mountains of Africa.
I think the son that E-Digital would produce with a white woman would lead humanity into a fourth golden age, actually.
Dude.
You know, of conquest and violence.
I mean,
and would plunge the world into a sea of blood. And
You don't really mean
if
that.
I were to do
You're just
that,
like,
if I were to follow through on that
it's like
plan,
narrative magic.
my son could be Alexander the Greatest.
I think the arising of your son would cause billions to die. I think the world's oceans would turn red.
Only liberals and libtards.
Right?
I think the sky would be would turn red from the
It would be
flame.
rended with blood.
Your son would terrify,
and thus humanity would be catapulted forward into an age of
violence.
violence.
Does he Cal?
When your son is born, the natives
God damn it.
I think billions will drop to their knees.
I think the natives will
glory and supplication of your child.
Yeah, he'll be like Homelander.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think the natives
Ave, glory to Kaiser, my heart and soul.
I think the Romans will tremble when your wife gives birth to your son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm gonna do right now? I'm gonna grab my Daniel Defense AR-15 that I have, you know,
nice.
and I'm gonna go to a local primary school using my 5.56 bullets.
So gentlemen, if you would turn your attention to unknown user camera, we have a prime example of the Utermensch, or a bug person, right? This is what they look like. Remember this face.
Right.
This
I just want to burn it all
this
down.
This is your enemy. This is the disgusting creature.
You really shouldn't
say
shit like that.
My enemy.
I'm gonna go to Brixton in South London, take my 11-inch sword, and fight my scallywags on the street.
By the communist government, Lenin's Jewish roots were kept secret until after his death. Lenin was also a crypto-Jew who tried to conceal his Jewishness by converting to Christianity in his early days, as did most of his family. He came from a poor Jewish family and was, according to his baptismal certificate, the son of Moses Blank, a native of Zhytomyr, a province of Ukraine. By 1916, in the United Kingdom, Lloyd George became Prime Minister of the wartime coalition. During that same month, royal advisor Grigory Rasputin was murdered by a group of Russian nobles in the house of Prince Felix Yusupov. It was believed he was responsible for some of the poor decisions being made by Nicholas II. Rasputin was a very mysterious man known for being a mystic and a self-proclaimed holy man who befriended the family of Tsar Nicholas II and gained considerable influence in late Imperial Russia. In the year 1917, one of the starting points of the Bolshevik Revolution, primarily piloted by Jews who hated Russia, came out of the closet during what is known as the February Revolution. On the 22nd of February, the workers at the Putilov plant in Petrograd went on strike. By the following day, a series of demonstrations were held, demanding the end of the Russian autocracy and the end of the Russian participation in World War I. There were no newspapers during the first week of the revolutionary events in Petrograd promoting the strikes. However, due to foreign banking interests, alongside the revolutionary Jew who looked to take advantage of the situation, they began trumpeting, not looking for the ways to rebuild the state, but by vying with each other in denouncing all things of the past. Through the control of the media, revolution was actually promoted. In an unprecedented gesture, the newspaper of the Constitutional Democrats, known as Cadets, Rek,
It makes it
announced
like
that
on my
now
screen it looks
quote,
completely normal.
all Russian life
but for
must
whatever
be
reason,
rebuilt
Look,
on its roots.
Yeah,
Why are
it's
you,
like-
why are you
quote.
telling
PR
us
on
shit that nobody cares
steroids.
about?
someone was asking me, you fuck.
No one
guys.
cares, Char. No
Someone
one cares.
literally
Yeah, I
asked
see
me.
what
the
you're
fuck?
saying. That
I-
sucks. Go to a
uh,
cave. I'm curious.
You should read
There's
this book,
conflict,
Super
but I don't know
Sire,
what it is.
Char, look how bright it is for me. It looks like a stinger.
by
Really.
Alan
Char,
Carr.
Char's
Oh,
like,
you don't
oh
need
my
willpower.
god, man! I tried to like
Alan
double click
Carr?
mouth and
Give
it
us
wouldn't
the
work.
spoiler.
And then I triple click it
Unknown.
and it worked.
What's
Shit.
the spoiler of how do you do it?
No, I
without
understand
willpower?
the philosophy
It
behind the
explains
book.
to you how to
You're
quit
saying.
smoking.
I wonder if there's a way I can
But
offset
like,
that.
give us the spoiler. How do you do that without willpower? Definitely. Like, what is
No,
it?
here's the thing. You
Well,
have to
you
want.
do.
You have to actually just want
First
to.
step
No,
is
That's
I
willpower.
pretty
think
much it.
there's two things
That's
to
it.
I
quit
feel like I walked
smoking.
on incel.
There's
Chat.
there's
I
number
don't
one.
want
There's
to.
you
Something
don't
like
want
that.
to. It's severely affecting your health. I can tell.
What the fuck is this?
This is someone
Go fuck yourself.
who's concerned.
Right.
For
So
you.
everybody
Piece of
knows
shit.
that.
Yeah,
That doesn't make it easier to
this should've
quit.
I
fixed it,
really
man.
love how
Like, what's the
how
attitude?
people
Just to
are
admit that it's
concerned
Is it
pretty
better
for no
now?
reason.
I have to see it. No, it's still really.
Like, for me, it's like it makes
I
it
wonder if
you're
empathy
breathing
is
I mean,
more
it is the
hard.
desert. It
Makes
is
you
the
tired.
like
desert.
it's more like you're
Or
projecting empathy.
No,
Still,
because it's
I feel like
affected my
smoking
health,
really,
but I've
really
kind of
hard.
quit smoking, so
Well, I
that's
quit,
good.
but
probably
like, I
That's
just
good for
ruined.
you.
bought a
It's
pack
probably
of cigarettes
ruined
'cause
my
I had
life
some drinks
somewhat.
Char, I
Smoking
muted
cigarettes.
Avery and the
Absolutely. I'm
unknown
just
user.
curious
So
He's
what
like
he
the
came up
Reese,
with.
the guy who
Without
just
willpower,
quit
he's
smoking,
obviously
so he
talking
needs to
about
talk
something
about
that's
how
a
you,
little bit of a
need to
gimmick.
quit
Char,
smoking.
No. This
I
book
muted
talks
the
about
concern
how
like
there's
that,
two
Char.
types of
Char, your
quitters.
graphics look really good, bro.
I'm
Oh,
listening.
yeah.
I don't
can hear
even
you. I'm
want a
helping
cigarette
you
Dude,
out.
Alpha
anymore.
2042 looks
I don't
so
want
cool, bro.
nicotine.
been
I used to
I've
want
been-
it.
I
then
quit
where are you
smoking
at?
because
Where are
I'm
you
also
from at
using
in
vape
UK,
for
man?
my
my
life.
asthma.
I live in
Because I
Scotland.
stopped
I
vaping.
don't
Yeah.
Fucking
cigarettes.
Do you
wrong.
vape or
I was
anything to
curious.
try
He's
to
like the
keep from
Reese.
the cigarettes or no?
No,
Disgusting
I
asshole.
don't vape anymore. I don't take any nicotine. I just quit.
Good for you.
Well,
pal.
so I
So
imagine seeing me on
what's
camera is
trick?
sort of a
What's the trick
yeah.
that makes
Sorry
the
about
us
that, man.
No,
start
you
lying?
No,
don't.
Superstar, you're
I'm just
fine.
saying.
It's
Every
different for
time.
everybody.
I would
There's
love
no
to know.
one trick. There's no
Every
like
time
you know.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get
I
so
mean, I know,
angry, like,
but
I
the
wanna, like,
guy
kill
wrote a
them.
book. He probably has a
Like,
suggestion
how could
of
you
what the
be
trick
so
might be.
Yeah, we
terrible
all
to
have
your...
suggestions. I mean, I quit smoking too.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
don't...
it's like
Vape
I'm
is like...
kind of quitting
Vape is like,
now, and I
instead of
went a
eating
few
fast food,
months,
like, if I
but I
just
was
drunk the oil,
vaping.
just straight.
I always
Just
hated
straight
vapes.
fucking
I'm
barrel
like,
of
it does
oil into my
help crush
stomach.
you from
Oh,
the
mean,
this guy's
uh,
freaking drinking decent whiskey. I just got cheap ass beer.
unknown. Are you
Cheers,
drinking beer
brother.
right now? Are you drinking?
Well,
No, it's
I am now.
cider.
He's drinking canned beer.
Do you drink any alcohol at all?
He's
It's
It's
cider.
cider.
Gross.
It's cider.
Oh, like
Apple cider.
alcoholic cider.
Like fruit cider.
But it's
cider is
alcoholic?
alcoholic.
Yeah, it's
I used to go
alcoholic.
to a
Yeah.
brewery.
Or do you
It's a
kill
little bit less than beer
Yeah,
usually,
I got all
but
my
they can
friends
put
doing
I
it,
it
I
in
would
beer
not
if
be
they
able
want.
to drink alcohol all without having some type of like
That's just called a trigger.
rape or
I got all my friends killed.
That's the trigger. That's the thing. It's all the other things
Well, look,
make it hard to
I
quit.
can explain to you how to quit nicotine.
Stop vaping all those
It's all
chemicals in
in
your
the
body.
book.
I don't
If you
think
just
nicotine
read the
is
book.
Yeah, well, guess what? Part of that book
well, that's
wants
because
you
you're
to
being
quit smoking
brainwashed.
as well. Fuck
No,
that.
like straight up nicotine.
Well,
I
no,
don't really think it's
nicotine. I
either.
mean, there's
It's
a
like
lot
the
of studies that
nicotine is a poison.
vape as well is not good, but
Not stare directly into the lens.
But I think if you were taking
version of
like
the book
if you were
is
just getting your
abridged.
nicotine
The
from like
Defense Minister
patches, I don't think that would actually be
proposed to open
Yeah,
a
there's
task
a lot.
for the
There's a lot of
Jews.
studies that
literally a
suggest.
No,
poison.
it is
It
still
infects
bad
your
for
blood.
your heart.
in your vape, is
Still
it?
bad for your heart.
Host of other chemicals.
Percentage quotas on the Jews. Both proposals were accepted without obstacles. Prior to this, no Jew was allowed to be an officer in the military. By the time March came around, 1917, it became very obvious that this new revolution was looking more and more like a push for the political expediency of the revolutionary Jew. Towards the end of March 1917, members of the State Duma, the State Assembly, had joined the Provisional Government, which was to hold power until a Constituent Assembly was elected to give Russia a new constitution. The Provisional Government at this time had no choice but to share power with the Petrograd Soviet, a council elected by workers and soldiers who engaged in the February Revolution. The reason the Provisional Government had to share power with the Petrograd Soviet Council was because the Petrograd Soviet at this time controlled the capital's troops, transports and communications. The Rothschild family had a formula which many of their allies supported. On one hand, Zionism, as a political movement, was gaining momentum. By getting America into World War I on the side of the British government, in turn, through the United Kingdom's Foreign Secretary Arthur Balfour, had promised to create a Jewish homeland in Palestine. We know this because of the Balfour Declaration, a letter signed in 1917. Also, Jewish-Polish writer E. Malinsky also suggests that America's entrance into the war on the side of the Allies was due to Jewish influence, and that if it had not been for the Lusitania affair, also made possible by Winston Churchill, America may not have entered the war at all. On the other hand of this Rothschild family formula, we know that Jewish bankers and other financiers were directly involved in propping up Trotsky and other Bolshevik revolutionists. Jacob Schiff was head of the New York investment firm Kuhn, Loeb & Co. He was one of the principal backers of the Bolshevik Revolution and personally financed Trotsky's trip from New York to Russia. When Trotsky returned to Petrograd in May of 1917 to organize the Bolshevik phase of the Russian Revolution, he carried $10,000 US in travel expenses. A generous, ample fund considering the value of the dollar at that time. And for the fact that he'd only earned about $12 a week while he was in America, that's also pretty good. It was also the American government who gave Trotsky a passport. This American passport was accompanied by a Russian entry permit and a British transit visa. So between Zionism and Bolshevism, we can see how both sides of the dialectic work together. It was certainly beneficial for Russia's Jews, whose descendants eventually flocked in droves to the Jewish state. So much so that Jerusalem alone today is home to more Jews than all of Russia. By the end of April, in what is known as the Wall Street Project, began in Russia and used the Red Cross mission and its operational vehicle to aid the revolution. However, this was not for humanitarian purposes, as there was only 4 doctors who were a part of this trip at the time. The real purpose of this mission was to offer financial support to the Bolsheviks. All expenses, including those of the uniforms, the members were all colonels, majors, captains, or lieutenants, were paid out of the pocket of William Boyce Thompson, a Jewish financier who was also a major donor to the Republican Party in the United States. Other notable people who were financing the Red Cross in America during this time included J.P. Morgan, Jewish banker, and Cleveland H. Dodge, Jewish financier. In exchange for raising funds, Wall Street asked for the Red Cross War Council, and on the recommendation of Cleveland H. Dodge, one of Woodrow Wilson's financial backers, Henry P. Davidson, a partner in J.P. Morgan Company, became chairman. During this time, both Guaranteed Trust and National City Bank had representatives in Russia at the time of the revolution. In June, a new Russian military offensive in Austria-Hungary ended in disaster, with 400,000 Russian casualties. This resulted in massive desertions and a collapse in army morale and discipline. In July, Russian soldiers and sailors in Petrograd mutinied. They were joined in the streets by Bolshevik support. This played to the advantage of the Bolsheviks, who opposed the war. Lenin and the Bolsheviks were a faction of the Marxist Russian Social Democratic Labour Party, who eventually became the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, who advocated at the time for land redistribution and the end to the war, all of which was being financed by Western banking elites, who sought to use the promise of prosperity for the common man as a tool to win over the hearts of Russian peasants, workers and soldiers. The ideology of Marxism didn't arrive organically or in a vacuum. It came about from a man named Karl Marx, whose real name was Chaim Herschel Mordecai. Karl was a Prussian-born theorist who was the son of a rabbi. The ideology of Karl was used to push Europe to the brink of destruction under the guise of anti-capitalism. Ironically, however, his efforts were financed by Jewish bankers and Western powers. The ideology of Marxism still has its hold on Western countries even today. Between the Bolsheviks and the Provisional Government of Russia looking to seize more power at the time, disagreements seemed to be unavoidable. In what is now known as July Days, a spontaneous pro-Soviet demonstration occurred on the streets of Petrograd. This resulted with the Provisional Government using its force to put the rebellion down, and on the 6th of July they also ordered the arrest of certain Bolshevik leaders, including Leon Trotsky. The Provisional Government at this time didn't see eye to eye with Trotsky and wanted him imprisoned until such time that they could cool the storm that was brewing. The foreign banking interests in New York and London had put Trotsky in place as an agent to be the leader of the Bolshevik Revolution. Trotsky, whose real name was Lev Davidovich Bronstein, was a Jew who had previously been living in New York, being monitored, mentored and financed by Wall Street bankers. During the month of July 1917, Alexander Kerensky succeeded Lvov as Prime Minister of Russia. And in the month of August, what is now known as the Kornilov Affair took place, in which General Lavir Kornilov ordered an army corps to Petrograd to destroy the Soviets. Kornilov was the Russian commander-in-chief who believed Russia's war effort was being undermined. He believed the chaos in Russia was being deliberately escalated by people like Lenin, who he believed was a Jewish spy working for the Germans. With the Russian military inbound to destroy the Soviets, the Provisional Government armed tens of thousands of Red Guard Bolsheviks to defend Petrograd from the attempted military coup. Thousands of people died during this time. However, the Bolsheviks did manage to succeed, and on the 31st of August, Kornilov was arrested. By the 4th of September, the provisional government, now under pressure from the Bolsheviks and their Jewish Wall Street financiers, released the Bolshevik leaders from prison, including Leon Trotsky. With the majority of the Bolsheviks now being unmatched in their power in Petrograd, Lenin, who was in hiding in Finland under the direction of Jewish bankers in Germany, decided to return to Petrograd and lead the reign of the Bolsheviks. Lenin, now in power, had no need for the provisional government or their direction, who then called for a coup in what would now be known as the October Revolution. On the 25th of October, soldiers directed by the Military Revolutionary Committee of the Petrograd Soviet captured the Winter Palace, ending the power of the Russian provisional government. The Bolsheviks finally take over and are now fully in charge, with all of their leadership comprising of Jewish revolutionaries who are under the direction of the
Sorry, where do they
from the West.